Hey everybody, Ryan here with you again for the Minnesota Holiday House. It's the last weekend before Halloween 2018. We've only got a few more things to button up, got a few tricks up our sleeves that we haven't talked about yet that we do every year, and I got a few ideas of some new things that I want to try this year to add to the display. You can kind of see behind me we've changed up a little bit when it comes to the plumbing on the fog machines, and we added a few of the ghouls over here. We'll get a better look at those in a little while, but stick around. Like I said, we got a few tricks up our sleeves still, and thanks for watching. Hey guys, before we get started, I just wanted to give a shout out to Jeremy over at A Crazy Christmas Crew. He gave me a shout out in his most recent video that he put out and gave me quite a few subscribers, so I wanted to say thanks to you guys for jumping over and taking a look at what I've put out, and I want to say thanks to him for giving me the shout out. I know pretty much most of the subscribers that I've gained so far I'm pretty much attributing to that, so again, thank you, I appreciate it. If you're watching this and you're not subscribed to my channel or his channel, definitely hit the subscribe button here, and then down in the description I'll put a link to his channel and check out what he does. I've been following him since 2013 or 2014, so he does a really good Christmas display every year, and he also does some pretty cool Halloween stuff too. Back in 2014 he built a really cool haunted house out of pallets and kind of caught my eye there, so and again, give him a check out if you haven't already, and we'll get going on the rest of this. So to give you a little update of where we're at, starting up here at the top of the driveway, the skull on the right will get plugged in. He lights up red. The skull on the left does not light up, so he'll end up getting put out in the yard somewhere. We swing over here to the right a little bit. We've got the Grim Reaper that you guys saw in the fog video. I just got the pumpkins connected earlier today, and the girlfriend got the skeleton thrown over here with his missing arm. I've had these pumpkins for, gosh, 4 or 5 years now, probably. I just generally don't have the time to carve real pumpkins and go through that process, and it's just easier to throw these guys up in the attic every year and plug them in. They're good to go. Further out in the yard, we've got the inflatable spider behind the mega webs. He's a pretty popular item out in the yard. Everybody kind of gets thrown off by the fact that his head goes side to side. So I like keeping him right there underneath it too. I've thought about throwing him in front of it in years past, but with some of the other things that we got planned for the rest of the yard, he's just best served tucked underneath the webs there. Got a few bones laid out there with him too. We also got the ghouls hung up out on there, shepherd's hooks. In years past they used to get hung up on the gutters right at the top of the driveway, but inevitably in October it rains at least a few times after I put things up, and coming home after a long day of work and getting hit in the face with a wet ghoul is not a very pleasant thing. So we decided to move them out into the yard this year and do a little something over the gutters that I'll show you guys in a little bit here. Here's some of the plumbing changes to the fog stuff that we'll go over here in a little while. Out to the pallets. This guy out here, I actually changed out the pallet on him because I found the one that I used last year with the good end cap. So swapped him out and ended up sacrificing the pallet that was out there to the pallet fence that we got going over here. This guy's down here all set up. I like the chains, but it's not in the budget right now to go get more chain. This is actually just some stuff that I had lying around from another project that I was doing, and I could cut it, but then it loses the effect when I only got 1 or 2 drapes of the chain over top of the pallet. So this one gets the chain, the other one may get some rope. I'm not sure yet though. Then out front, I'll give you guys a look at him at the nighttime. He looks really cool with the red floodlight on him. Threw a few extra bones around him, but I may take some of those and sacrifice them to go up by the mega webs as well. And the pallet fence is pretty much all done here. I've left the last 2 sections off just so I can get out into the yard still, but one thing we didn't talk about when we were doing the mega web episode was, I mean, yeah, they look good, but at nighttime with everything else going on, they kind of get lost. But one thing I haven't told you about them is they glow in black lights. So we're gonna go test out the black lights, make sure everything works. I've got a couple that I use, so we'll I think that's gonna be next, is going through and testing all those. So let's go see how they look. So the fact that the MegaWebs were blacklight responsive was one of the huge selling points for me. I like their look, but when I saw that they were blacklight responsive, that pretty much just sold them on me. Now, they don't glow huge time neon or anything like that, but they definitely stand out a whole lot more when you use the black lights. And I had a couple of blacklight fixtures that I put together, I mean, years ago back in college, rather than go out to, you know, any of the Spencer's Gifts or whatever and buy black lights. I figure I can make one for way cheaper than what these kids are paying for 18 and 24. So the fact that the MegaWebs were blacklight responsive was one of the huge selling points for me. I had a few fixtures that I put together myself over the years that I used for the Halloween display. I keep them stored in the attic, so I need to pull those things out and get them tested, make sure everything's working. I put these things together for about $30 a piece, probably between $30 and $35 a piece. I'll show you what they are. So what I like to use are just these 48-inch shop lights. I usually get them at local hardware stores. I've gotten them at a couple of different places over the years. But I've just found that bang for your buck, this is a much better way to go than trying to buy the individual ones from Spencer's or Spirit. It's going to cost you about the same amount of money to put one of these units together, maybe a little bit more, but you're getting two bulbs instead of just the single units that most places sell. And I figured if one or two is good, three should be better, right? Five's good enough. So here's all 5 units. Like I said, they just stay up in the rafters of the garage every year, so I should probably plug all these things in, test them out, make sure all the bulbs are still good, make sure the units are still good, and if I've got to replace them, I got to replace them. So 2 good bulbs, 4 good bulbs, 6, 8, 'Nice. Alright, all the fixtures tested, they all checked out, everything's working, don't need to replace any bulbs. These get laid out in the front of the web. I used to do 2 or 3 of them, or I guess it was 3 of them originally is what I started out with when I expanded to the 2 webs. But I felt like I was missing a few spots of the web on the front edge, so expanded to 5 units. I guess it was like 2 years ago I went up to 5 units. So these are like fog machines though. These things don't get laid out every single night. They only go out the night of. I've still got to run all the electrical out in the yard for them, so they'll get tested tonight out there, and I'll be able to show you guys a little bit of that. But for right now, I know that these work. I'm going to shove them back in the garage, and we're going to move on to the next project. So over the years I've acquired quite a few skeletons, and I've kind of run out of ideas and places to put them. So this year I decided I was going to take one of them and string some Christmas lights up on the house because, well, Christmas is just around the corner. So I took him around the backside at the back corner of the house, and I may take his arm so he's pushing off against the house a little bit more. But I was pretty treacherous up there earlier. So I like the look of him. I'll bring you guys around out front and I'll kind of give you a shot from the street side and show you what he looks like from over there. So this is more of the view from the street side. I'm going to try and take the Christmas lights and hang them down closer to the house a little bit. I may bag up the spare ones just so I don't have a ball of Christmas lights laying on the ground for my neighbors. But I also got to put all these things on timers too, because right now all of the plug-ins in the backyard are just straight plugged into the wall, but I do have a timer back there. I just need to set it all up. Probably do that tomorrow. So that's the look for him. I like him. This side of the house has always kind of just been the dark side of the house, and in years past I've had buddies come over and actually hide behind the fence and kind of run out from the back of the yard or from the backyard and scare the kids as they go by. But I've kind of gotten away from actually terrorizing the children by running out the door and scaring them over the last couple of years. I guess the addition of having a kid living at my house now has kind of tamed my scares a little bit, but he's only 8 right now, but I imagine the older he gets, the more we'll start ramping that stuff back up. So